Welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the High Frequency Kicks podcast, available on YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, and iTunes. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
You kind of look like a chef with your shirt.
This shirt is extremely comfortable. It's like a linen material. It's a bit heavier, but it's still like super comfy despite how hot it is.
Nice.
I love this shirt. I will enjoy wearing this for a long time.
Are the buttons like those little toggles?
Yeah, there's like a little knot. So I got like a little knot and a loop, and I got like.
Yeah.
Boop.
Oh,
get the sex appeal, and we're done.
Oh, this got crazy.
Yeah, can't monetize this video anymore.
We wish we were that cool.
To monetize?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure YouTube has given me the option, and I've just not turned it on because I don't know. I don't have the time to manage that. I think maybe someday I'll get to that point where we're doing that, but not today.
Well, how many followers do we have on YouTube?
On YouTube, most of our listeners are not from YouTube.
Yeah, so why would we have the option to be monetized?
Just because they kind of give you, they kind of throw that option to almost anyone now.
Well, I haven't gotten it on my personal YouTube.
I think you just turn it on.
Okay, well, I'll look again.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'll look at it again because I would like that.
Yeah. I think we have like 13 subscribers on YouTube.
Nice.
But most of our viewers come from
most of the viewers.
Pardon?
Most of the viewers.
Listeners, the people that listen to this podcast. According to my stats that I love to look at, which I haven't looked at in a few days. Let's look at that.
My other channel has 200 subscribers now.
Oh wow!
Last time I made a video, I had like 160 or something like that.
Sure.
And then I have the one video that's like really popular that people keep commenting on, and yeah, so I gotta do an updated version of that one, I guess. Since it's the popular one.
I've got so many ideas for like videos I would like to make. Problem is, I have a lot more ideas than I do time.
I know. Me too.
And I'm also, it's one of those things where, I'm not upset that I moved to Montreal, but also I had plans that I was about to like try and put in motion with like you and Andrew and such in Winnipeg. Be like, hey, I have a bunch of ideas of things that I would think would be fun to make and put online, and then life was like, nope, you live in Montreal now. That's where your job is.
I guess that was the token mentioning of Andrew for this episode.
Oh, I'm sure we can find more times to mention him.
We gotta put him on so that everyone knows he's real.
That requires. We could do it actually. He has internet now, so that's possible.
Oh, that's nice.
I know he has internet now because now that he has internet, I am able to play Dungeons and Dragons with him again.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
You can do that remotely?
Yep, that's how we play for the most part now because almost because of the pandemic. A lot of games shifted to online. But also with Andrew, I was playing a game with it was me and my wife and Andrew and our friend who you know, Erica. Who Andrew and Shelby and I got Erica into D&D before I left. And then of course I left. And now Andrew lives in Minnesota and Erica's in BC and I'm here and we got Andrew's wife playing now. So we have like 3 different time zones to coordinate, but we do it all online. So
nice. How is Erica,
she's good.
She's fellow student?
Yeah. No, she's doing really good. She's she's having fun. She's living in BC. So,
She's in BC? I've had her on Facebook. I didn't even realize that.
I literally just said that.
Oh. Well, it would have helped if I was paying attention.
Apparently. Yeah. But yeah. What else Oh, I was looking at stats. What do we have here? Uh, it's hard to tell how many like. Oh, here,
I'm glad you
audience.
like looking at stats because I don't want to do that.
I don't and I do. It's just very interesting in this case. I find it very interesting since the last episode. So first of all, our episode on the Will Smith slap is now our most watched episode.
Nice. That was a good idea on my part.
It was. Congratulations.
To bank on the popularity.
Yeah, it very quickly spiked and then kind of plateaued for a little bit, and then slowly a few more trickled in, and it surpassed the previous top episode.
Nice.
But I was watching it since the last episode, and U.S. is still in the top place for most viewers. They're currently at 45% of our viewership comes from the U.S.
Nice.
Second place was hotly contested again between Canada and Germany. They keep going back and forth. Canada's back in the top with 27%, and Germany's at 25%.
Oh my god. Okay, so next time we're in person together, we should do a Canada versus Germany sparring match.
Sure.
For our 13 YouTube viewers.
Yeah, sure. We have a friend who's from Germany who's actually not that far. It's like 2 hour drive from me. So we'll see if we can get him back to Winnipeg, and I'll come to Winnipeg, and then he can spar you, because I don't want to spar him because he's really good.
I don't want to spar him. Well,
But
he
it's your
keeps
idea.
saying he's out of shape now.
I don't think he is. I'm pretty sure he's teaching
No, he's
as well.
not. No, last couple of times I saw him, I was like, I like made him come to a class with me, and he was like, I don't know about this, I'm so out of shape, but he was still like doing better than me, making me feel bad.
His version of out of shape is more in shape than I'll ever be.
Yeah, that's
That doesn't count.
right.
Anyway, that's all I had on that. What else were we going to talk about?
You were gonna tell me about your tattoo experience.
I did get a tattoo, and so I have this one already, but I got another tattoo on my right arm, from a anime show called One Piece.
Oh yeah. And how did the tattoo go?
Good.
Was it a long sit?
It was 6 hours.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was determined to get it all done in one sitting, and so was my tattoo artist.
Yeah, it's much more convenient to do it all at once.
Well, especially like because the tattoo studio where I found this artist. I mean, she's downtown, and I don't live in the downtown area. Like, it's about like an hour-ish drive sometimes to get there, depending on traffic.
Oh, geez.
40 minutes, probably 40 minutes to get to her studio, but still, it's a drive, and then I gotta find parking downtown, and so doing that twice was annoying. So just sat there for 6 hours, and I had a bunch of Gatorades and protein bars, and I just sat there and drank those and ate that in the chair for a while.
Nice.
But that's my phone.
Was it painful in that spot? That's a pretty easy spot, hey?
Yeah,
Like
it's not bad.
on your arm there.
There were a couple parts. I mean, it gets a little bit lower. I can kind of rub my sleeve a bit, but like it gets kind of close to the joint. So I mean, this part was a little sensitive at the time, but well, it wasn't bad.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah, it was a fun time. And now we got a really cool One Piece tattoo. For anyone who knows what One Piece is.
Well, I don't.
Yeah.
You can tell me what it is.
It's an anime. It's like a Japanese cartoon.
Well, I know what anime is.
It's a really good show. It's got a mixed. I could talk about the show for a while if we wanted to. I don't think I should, but
okay, in a nutshell.
It's a really good show. It's one of the longest running shows. It's been on air since 1999.
Oh wow.
Making it, and like the comic that it's based off of, which is also still running and still in production, has been going since 1987. Stop calling me, please.
Who is it? Call them out.
It's the vet.
Oh, damn you, vet.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Maybe I'll answer them. 1 sec. Hello. What was I saying? One Piece. One Piece. It's a really fun show. It's been going on since '99. It's about pirates. It's this magical world, and it's about there's a legendary treasure called the One Piece that belonged to the previous king of the pirates, and essentially, whoever can find and claim the One Piece becomes the new king of the pirates. And it's about
Those are some pretty loosey goosey rules.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. So it's just about this kid setting off on an adventure and putting a crew together and trying to sail the world and find the One Piece.
Imagine if that was real life. Like, I found the One Piece. I'm the Prime Minister. I win.
I win. I win politics.
Yeah, depending how you look at it.
I mean, there's really no winning politics.
That's true. That is true.
But yeah, no, that's what the show is. So there's a bunch of things. Like there's the I'm sure you've seen the picture I posted online of my tattoo. So there's like a straw hat, and there's the hat that the main character wears, and there's 4 swords, and there's some of the swords that the first mate on his crew uses.
Do they do martial arts?
I mean, yeah. I mean, actually, yeah. I mean, the first mate is a swordsman. So, I mean, swords. The cook on their crew he's a funny character because he's a chef. He doesn't use his hands to fight because his hands are for cooking. So all of his attacks, all of his fights is done by kicks. So like, it's
That's
funny.
pretty convenient for his enemies.
I mean, but also like it's an anime, so like they play it up. It makes it like his, typical anime rules. His kicks are like stupid strong, and just like does a bunch of like anime like impossible techniques that look really cool and are fun for the show. There's the whole like handstand, spin around on his hands, kick everyone in a circle kind of thing that you see in shows, and it's a really fun show.
Nice.
The characters are really really interesting, but a lot of people don't like it for various reasons. The main complaint is that it's too long because there's too many episodes. Which for me I like it. Like I like the story enough that like the number of episodes doesn't bother me. We actually just
I miss like in the 90s when seasons were like 20 something episodes long.
Yeah, no, I was talking about that to someone else this week too. But this show doesn't. It does seasons, but also it's been going every week without a break since '99. Right, like they'll take a couple weeks break during like Christmas holidays and things like that. But
that's crazy.
generally speaking, like it's been every week a new episode since it started in 1999.
That's a lot of episodes.
There are over 1,000 episodes as of now, and it's still going. But the story is really fun. It's a great story. It's got a lot of really good characterizations of characters. The lore and the world building is some of the best in my opinion. So it's really fun.
Yeah, that's impressive that they've been able to keep stay on that same train that long.
Mm-hmm.
Making episodes for that many years. Holy.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. Like it's crazy, but it's a good show. I enjoy it. So, But I was saying like we were caught up on all the episodes. So, and we like to have a backlog because the story doesn't move excessively fast sometimes, especially when they're in the middle of a particular story arc. So we like to have a couple months worth of episodes backed up to watch. And since we got caught up, we decided to restart the whole show. So we restarted a couple weeks ago, so we're on episode like 180 something right now.
And how drastically does the quality change?
It's funny looking at the animation difference because again, it started in the 90s, so and it wasn't bad animation. It's actually really good, but it's funny looking at it being like, oh yeah, no, this is very 90s compared to now. It's interesting. A lot of things where I'm watching, especially because my wife does animation for her job, so I understand a little more about how this stuff works now. Just talking to her and stuff, and so there's every things I'm watching is like, oh, I kind of see now where they did certain shortcuts. in the 90s
Yeah.
because they had to make budgets or whatever. But it's just funny.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you? Anything? You don't have any new tattoos to talk about? Just the one on your leg?
I wish. I have this. There's this girl on Instagram, and I really like her work, and I wanted to book her, but she says her bookings are closed in her bio, but it's said that for such a long time, and I'm like, do you seriously have this much work that it's been sitting in your bio that you're not taking new clients? And so it's like I gotta either wait this out, or
Or find
I
someone
can't
else.
go to my old artists because they both moved out of the province.
Well, I'll send you a link to my artist. You can come here to Montreal. We'll get tattoos together.
Oh, of the logo.
Sure, why not? We'll get the waveform tattooed. That's all the silliness I had on mind. Anything else?
No, I think, yeah.
Cool.
Good. I had a question for Shelby, but did you guys see Jurassic Park?
No.
Okay, the dinosaurs look so bad. Like the CGI dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They look colossally bad.
Oh.
It's really sad. And like they look cartoon. It looks so bad. I was deeply upset by it. Don't watch it.
Okay, I'll bring that up with Shelby. Let her know that the dinosaurs are badly done.
All I know is that they look like shit, and I want her to back me up.
Okay, well I'll find a clip and she and I can watch it and I'll get back to you with her
If you
thoughts.
can, watch this clip. If you want to look for a bad clip, there's this scene where Chris Pratt's running away from a dinosaur on a like frozen lake.
Mm-hmm.
And that dinosaur looks especially bad. And also the physics of the lake makes no sense.
Well, I love that. That happens.
Like Chris Pratt falls through the ice, but the dinosaur doesn't fall through this ice. The dinosaur can jump up and land on the ice, but Chris Pratt falls. And they were like, at first they're like shimmying across the ice, like, oh my god,
Yep.
it's gonna crack. And then as soon as they see this dinosaur, they just like book it across to the other side.
How,
And I'm like,
how,
oh, so you could have just run across the lake this whole time.
how big a dinosaur are we talking about? We're talking like chicken-sized dinosaur or like...
No, it's like a double-decker bus height, at least.
Okay, yeah, sure. Well, I mean, technically they're birds, so their bones are hollow. So...
Well, this one looks especially birdy, but 100% it weighs more than Chris Pratt.
Sure.
Oh. Anyways, that's my rant about Jurassic Park.
Noted. I'll take that into consideration. I'll try and find that scene and watch it with Shelby, and I'll share with you her thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah. It is interesting watching films with her sometimes because she'll have comments on it, and it's definitely things that I wouldn't have thought of sometimes. It's cool.
Yeah, it is nice being that person.
Yeah.
They're like, did you know this sucks?
Did you like this? Oh, you're wrong.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah. We're going to talk about some forms.
Yeah.
We talked about forms once, but we kind of just... Forms are a big discussion like we talk about for a long time. And I want to talk about it. 'Cause I've been doing... I'm teaching students of my own now. And I've been spending a lot of time just in my forms and playing with them and learning, trying to find new ways to learn about them or new things to learn. And I've always loved the history of martial arts and the philosophies and things of the martial arts. And I've been playing with kind of some of those ideas and how those apply to our forms and trying to find new things to learn from my old forms, or new ways to learn from my old forms. And I just thought it was some cool stuff. I just wanted to it'd be fun to share kind of some of the stuff that I've been looking at lately and learning and get your thoughts on it because it's been pretty interesting for me some of the stuff that I've come across that I think is kind of neat.
Right on.
With how philosophy has kind of worked as well. And philosophy has always been a part of martial arts, but looking at it through the lens of forms is kind of fun. It's kind of interesting.
Okay, so give me a for instance.
So, obviously, because we do taekwondo primarily, so we always use the word poomsae for our forms.
Yeah.
But one of the things I was looking at was that the first 8 forms are called I'm gonna mispronounce this. I apologize. I am actually learning Korean via Duolingo. Duolingo,
nice.
please sponsor me.
You're off the Japan?
No, I'm doing that too.
Oh.
I'm
Impressive.
a masochist, I guess, and said, you know what? More languages. That'd be fun to learn. So I'm doing that.
Oh man, I can't even get through my book. Making me look bad.
I read slow, but I pick up languages fast. But anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna mispronounce this a little bit, I'm sure, but I'm gonna try my best. Our first 8 forms are called the Taegyuk forms. I'm not saying that right.
Oh yeah.
Right, Taegyuk.
I've definitely seen that word, but
yes.
I haven't needed to say it or have heard it.
Well, and I was looking some stuff up, and like I said, I'm looking up philosophy, and like I said, looking at my forms, and kind of spending more time with them, looking at, because I'm still doing my basic forms, doing forms 1 through 8 as well as my black belt forms, but I felt like I got to the point where I understand the moves, I understand what I'm doing, I understand what this is and how to use it, and how to do the form, but what am I really benefiting? What's additional, what's new that I'm gaining from doing this now? Like, I'm doing the same thing. I keep doing that and further refine that, and that's great. But what else am I gaining? Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to play with that. Like, what new stuff can I get from my first form? Also, I'm trying to remember the names of the forms now, because I feel like that's important. The first one's called Taegyuk Iljang. So I'm looking at Iljang, like, okay, well, what can I learn from this? And just spending time in the philosophy of martial arts and taekwondo as a whole. Because again, I find that stuff cool. And one of the things I found interesting, first of all, was that Taegyuk is basically the Korean word for what we would recognize as the yin yang from China. It's the Korean version of it, which is seen on the Korean flag. It's the same shape and with the teardrops. That it's red and blue, and they don't have the opposing colors circle. It's just a solid teardrop.
Yeah, it's the Pepsi logo.
Very similar to the Pepsi logo, yes. Pepsi, also, if you want to, sponsor us.
Like you're sponsoring Korea.
Yeah, you're doing the entire country. Why not us? Pardon me. So that's interesting that the first 8 forms are called the Taegyuk forms, are the forms of the symbol who's has a very interesting philosophical meaning in itself that we see in a lot of different things we talk about. I feel like it gets misrepresented a lot in Western culture. The Taegyuk, or the yin yang, however you want to pronounce it, whichever version you're referring to, has the same meaning. It just looks slightly different based on countries. But I mean, I feel like in Western culture, we see a lot of we mostly get the idea right, where it's opposites, the duality of opposites, and they're commingling and existing together in the same space. But we tend to look at it as the mix of good and evil.
Yeah.
But it's not entirely right. The idea of it really is the whole thing, when combined and working properly in harmony with everything, is good, because that's balanced. And when you have either one of the two sides in an excess, in too much, then you have an imbalance, and that imbalance becomes what we would perceive or define as evil. Right. So it's not the darker side isn't characteristically evil. It's just one polarity, one pole, and the light side is another pole. Right? You don't see like the positive and negative side of magnets as being good and evil. They're just opposite ends of the magnet.
Yeah.
So that's really a more accurate description of it. That Western culture doesn't like.
You can say that about good and evil in general too. Is like what's good or evil to one person could be opposite to the other person.
Right.
Or could be irrelevant to the third person.
Right. Is that right? So like that's. It's just an interesting thing I find, that how Western culture decided that it's about good and evil being two sides of the same coin intermingling, when it's really just different opposites intermingling, becoming a balanced, harmonious system, right? Like night and day, neither's good or evil. If we had nonstop day, everything would die. With nonstop night, everything would still die, right? You need to have both.
So how does this relate back to a form?
So I've been thinking about that. Like, well, they're called the Taegeuk forms. So what is the point of that? Why are we? So the first thing that came to my mind, and cause this is not an exhaustive like essay on here's what it means. This is my thoughts on where I'm at so far, and please add in your own thoughts, because I'm still looking things up and spending time in this. This is how I spend my evenings now, is thinking about this and trying to, for lack of a better term, be philosophical. I'm not philosophical, but trying to just have this enter my brain space a bit. And so the first thing that came to my mind was that, well, these 8 forms are our basics. These are the balanced forms to give you a solid footing, to give you an idea of both extremes, both extreme soft style, hard style, internal, external, all like the base components you need to have a solid groundwork for your martial arts, for your taekwondo, that you can build on. And that was the first thing that came to mind for me when I thought of, well, this is the Taegeuk forms.
Ooh, I had a thought.
Please. I'm gonna write it down too, because I want more thoughts.
Well, unless you have it already. What if it's also relating back to how the forms are symmetrical?
Yeah.
They're visually balanced. I mean,
and I have,
if you're watching them.
I do have notes on some of that. Something I found very interesting, that I don't know why I was never shown this before, or maybe I just didn't look at it, pay attention to it before. But yeah, about them being symmetrical. But yeah, like that was the first thing I thought of was that, and like you can look at the Taegeuk Iljang, which is the first one, and Paljang, which is the last one, number 8. And I was trying to look at them and be like, okay, well, what is opposite about Iljang versus Paljang? What makes them, either end of the spectrum?
Yeah.
I did feel like the further Chrome, stop telling me this. Don't restart. Literally, all these tabs open are my notes that I need open.
Chrome's like, I will screw with your episode.
Hopefully it just restarts all, like reopens everything where it was, I hope. But yeah, so I was looking at what's opposite from Iljang to Paljang. And I was trying to think, well, look, I was thinking about it the other day. I was trying to think, well, the further we got from Iljang, what was that? I had some ideas, but I wasn't near pen and paper and I couldn't write them down, which I'm very upset about, because I was having some good ideas at the time too. I'll if it comes back to me, I will bring it up. But
so you hadn't come to any conclusion about?
Not yet. I mean, again, this is a lot of stuff that I'm still like sitting on. I'm playing with of questions I'm asking myself, questions when I'm doing my forms. These are the thoughts that I'm trying to focus on. Like, what am I doing about this form that is reminiscent of this thing?
Yeah.
And thankfully, there's another thing that helps with that applies to what you were saying about how they're symmetrical in the shape. And it ties again to the philosophy and ties a little bit into the Taegeuk, which is the trigrams. And the trigrams are, again, you see four of them on the Korean flag. It's the four things in the other corner, the three bars,
Mm-hmm.
and either it's a solid bar or it's a broken bar. And there are 8 trigrams, and each of the first 8 forms is associated with one of the 8 trigrams.
Oh.
And so, again, they go from. So each. This is where it gets really deep into like the traditional philosophy and a little bit in theology, but basically the each of the 3 bars represents one of the 3, what do they call them, driving aspects of existence. Let's call it. Basically, it's heaven, earth, and man. Right. So
Yeah.
heaven being the pure positive side. Again, positive, negative, not being good or bad, just being opposites. But heaven being the pure positive, earth being the negative, man being the neutral in the middle. And so each of the bars represents one of those 3 things, or in itself. And then broken versus solid represents the 2 sides, the positive and negative. Whether you have one thing on a positive aspect or you have the negative side of that, it's a whole big thing. But so when you have 3 solid bars, that represents heaven. The 3 broken bars represents earth. And then you have everything in between.
3 broken bars. That sounds accurate.
Yeah. So like, it goes like heaven, and then it's lake, and then I have it written down in my home gym. But like each one represents a different aspect. There's like heaven, lake, water, air, mountain, lightning, fire. So each form is associated with one trigram, and that trigram has a thing that it means. And so again, I was looking at like, well, Iljang is associated with the heaven trigram, and Paljang is associated with the earth trigram. So like, okay, well, what does that mean? How do I apply that philosophy, that mindset? And heaven doesn't necessarily mean spiritual heaven, depending on how the translation. It could just mean the sky, the heavens of the earth that we see above us. But so I'm playing with that too, as just philosophical and as a way of interpreting how I should be doing my form. You know, I take that as the Iljong should be fairly smooth, fairly. I mean, they should all be smooth, but very relaxed and comfortable and peaceful. Whereas Paljong maybe should be more aggressive. And I did find
it does have that vibe in comparison to the first one, for sure.
Pardon?
It does, like the 8th one definitely has that vibe compared to, I guess, just like, I don't know why, just maybe like the different movements or the combination of them, but or maybe even like it's probably the transitions for me from one count to the next. The transitions are, you get more power behind each like block or strike, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is.
But that's a lot of stuff that I've been working with in my own training, because I'm spending a lot of time spending that time in the forums and looking at. Anytime I do a form, I have it on. I have a chalkboard wall in my home gym, and so I have all the forms written down. I have their trigrams written down. I have what they mean, and so I'm doing that. I do a form and I look at the trigram and I look at what it means. Like, okay, well, how does my form, and I'm doing it, display that attribute, right? If I'm doing, I need to write them down here so I remember which one's which. So that would be fire. So like pattern, our third form, which I think is Samjung. The trigram related to that is fire. Yes, no. Or water. water and fire look very similar, and I always get them mixed up. No, it was fire. This was like,
So how is that one fire?
Yeah, how does that relate to, what do I see about fire, or what the imagery, the notions that it gives me? How does that relate into my form?
Maybe because that one has a lot of like multiple strikes in each count, so it's like it has that aggressive quality.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, so I pulled the list up so we can go through each form, and I can tell you what trigram it is, and we can talk about it if you want.
Yeah, okay.
So obviously, the first one is the heavens, the sky.
Obviously, yeah.
Obviously, because I mentioned it. And so for me, that just I look at the clouds, I look at the sky, and how generally, and this is a storm, how generally serene and peaceful it looks. For me, I try to incorporate that quality into Iljong when I'm doing it.
Okay.
That's my mind. That's where my mind is when I'm doing that. I'm not sure what comes to your mind.
My mind, I'm just like, oh, this one's. I guess that makes sense. Like I was gonna say chill, like.
Yeah.
That one's chill, but it's also like the most basic one, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Also, so this is the part that I didn't realize till recently. Our footwork when we're doing a form is designed to be reminiscent of the trigram it's associated to.
Oh.
Right. We always have, three parts where we can go back and forth. Mm-hmm. Right. And whether you're doing your front leg is doing a whole 180 turn versus just where you are pivoting and turning around, that's supposed to illustrate whether that line is a solid bar or a broken bar.
Oh my god.
Right?
It's intense.
It's very cool to me that that has been worked into the forms. I find that very interesting.
This is a lot more thought than we put into that one form we invented that time.
I'm still gonna find my old BlackBerry and see if I can get the video of that.
If we can, we should redo it. We should like refilm it and throw it up online somewhere.
Oh no. I mean, yes, but also, oh no.
In case anyone was wondering, it's for our form we invented. You have to do it with a partner.
It does require a partner.
You can't do you can do it without a partner, but it'll look stupid.
I'm pretty sure we have at least one, probably two high fives in that form.
And I remember we had one of these, like a fist bump.
We did have a fist bump and fireworks at the end.
Oh, fireworks, yeah.
Oh, I forgot that.
Because that's the celebration that you finished it.
Yeah.
And then I remember there was a lot of ground kicks.
Some ground kicks.
Because a lot of the forms don't have, a lot of the Taekwondo forms don't have groundwork. Yeah. So then we were like, let's mix it up.
We also had some somersaults because they were fun.
Somersaults are fun.
It's pretty great.
So if you can't do a somersault, you can't do our pattern apparently. So.
Unfortunately, yes, it requires somersaults. Yeah.
So it requires some light gymnastics.
Gosh, I wish I could find that phone, find that video. It's not a BlackBerry though; it's an old BlackBerry too, so it's not going to be super great quality.
Well, we just need to see the moves, and then we can reshoot it.
Yeah. Yeah. Next time we're in the same city again.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's Iljong, which is the heaven trigram.
Okay, what's the next one called?
Whoops, that's a video. Hang on. I'm just trying to take my tabs that I have open and put them together so that it makes more sense. There we go. So the second one is, our second form is called Ejong. And the associated trigram is the lake. This is what I struggle with. I'm not sure how to relate a lake with my form.
Ooh, what about that? Okay, so about the footwork. My dog's making crazy noises, so sorry if you can hear it. But so he's like, so okay, 4 to 5, they're like swoopy transition.
Yes.
Maybe that's a lakey movement with the footwork.
4
like
to
that
5.
270
so going from the punch
like
to
the
the body
270
block.
no, from the high block around.
That's not 4 to 5.
No.
But okay.
11, 12.
There. Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
That's the one.
Okay. Very, very swoopy, kind of all-encompassing.
Yeah, maybe that has something to do with it. So
Yeah.
which other forms is lake?
No. Lake is only for the second form.
So they all have their own unique.
There are 8
Like-
trigrams, and there are 8 taiguk
Oh.
forms. So each one of the
Okay.
forms takes one of the trigrams.
Damn, so that would be helpful if like this one's also a lake one, and
No.
you see the similarities.
No,
that's what I
unfortunately, you
that's
get-
where I was kind of going. Yeah.
Or you get
But-
one shot for each of them,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that makes things more difficult.
right? But I'm really fascinated by trying to take this and be like, okay, well, using this to further expand my understanding of my forms. It's a very fun exercise for me. But I can see it as like kind of an all, because the certain translations that I see use the word lake, some use marsh. So I guess kind of like an all-encompassing, like a big, I'm sucking at words right now.
Good thing we have a podcast.
Yeah. The guy that can't talk has a podcast. This is great. It's going
To
well.
be fair, the subject matter is always about physical things.
It is.
Yes.
And we don't
We
always
weren't-
stay on topic like the first
We weren't trained
20 minutes
in
of
the
this
words.
podcast.
Yes, if you made it this far, congratulations.
Also, thank
If
you.
you've made it to the actual content.
I feel like our banter really pulls people in, keeps them here for the rest of the podcast.
I know.
I hope so.
right? Well, we're pretty cool, so.
I mean, yeah. What's not to like about us? But anyway, yeah. So I think we're both equally stuck on lake at the moment. So yeah, Samjang is fire, which I liked what you were saying. Like there's a lot of like double punches that we see in this form that kind of I can see is kind of like the visual.
Yeah, or,
the visual.
or even like the different, like you know how like 7, you go from like even the footwork there, like back stance to forward stance. Like there's more explosive
Yeah.
kind of movements in the counts.
Yes, and I like that, and that makes a lot
And
of sense to me.
maybe when we're doing it, would make more sense in this context to like do those ones more explosively, like do those counts more
Right.
explosively.
Well, and I agree, and that's nothing I think of. I was like, well, right, like when I do Iljang, I try to be very just calm and serene, but now when I do Samjang, I try to think, well, I want to embody fire, how I perceive fire in my moves. So yeah, especially with double punches and things like that, like try and get like a nice, like tongues of fire whipping out at something with my punches. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I can see it. That one makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one I see really well as well. Number 4, Sajang, is thunder.
Thunder.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's. I don't know if this is stupid, but it's like pointy like fire.
Fire? Thunder?
Cause thunder. Sorry, I'm still on the fire. It's because
So-
we're so fire.
We're really caught up in the fire. I
So-
get you. Fire's really cool. But we gotta put that
Welcome to
aside
the
now.
Fire podcast. Okay.
All about fire dancing.
Okay. So they okay.
Oh, sorry. I need to backtrack 1 second. What if we did pattern 3 with like one of those suits that you could light on fire?
Oh, that's what they meant.
Clearly.
They want you to wear a pyro suit. Yeah, that makes
our
sense.
forms are meant to be done. Again, I'm going off
And
track.
so, hey, pattern 4, you have to do it outside in a storm holding an antenna.
This is not an advice podcast. Do not do this.
It's only for trained professionals.
We are not trained in harnessing thunder. I need to put this out there. Do not do this.
Maybe you're supposed to do it with a kite tied to your body.
Again, do not do what Sam is saying.
Okay, wait. Okay, so 4. Okay, again, but this might sound like really stupid, but
You know
I'm
what?
just
We're
gonna say,
spitballing
it's
here.
like-
I like it. Let's go.
like,
Don't worry about it.
like it's pokey. Everything
Yeah.
it's all knife hand, so it's really pokey. Like a, like
Sorry,
thunder.
just you sitting there doing this.
Like-
It's really funny to me.
This is lightning. Look it.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with it, which is, I think, shows that I spent too much time with you. But yes, I see where you're going with this.
You just understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you. I mean, unfortunately, the only thing I can think of other than that is, again, that thunder has kind of an explosive quality to it that we would also see with fire.
Well, yeah, like the very first movement, like, wah, wah.
You got the double knife hand block, yeah.
It's pokey and it's explosive, and it's very like, I don't know, aerodynamic.
Yeah, focused.
Looking.
Let's go with the word focused.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to use the word pokey with my students now as how I describe forms. This is the pokey form.
Congratulations, you get to learn the pokey form.
Pokey form. Yeah. Again, thunder is a hard one because it's not lightning, it's the sound. But I also think a lot of,
Oh, you said thunder specifically.
well, but also, like I know from with Japanese with with knowing that language, I mean, the concept between thunder and lightning are a little bit interchangeable sometimes. So I mean, it's not really talking about something different, but like thunder is usually representative of like the shock wave, the sound, that tremor feeling, as opposed to lightning, which is the focused bolt.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that doesn't really help me. It's another one where I'm kind of
No.
sitting on it to being like, I'm not sure really what to go with on this.
Well, okay, look at the foot movements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do we have any thunder vibes? In
Yeah.
the
What are we doing in 4? We're not doing any stomping in the form. We don't do any. I would feel that from like something like horse stance, right? Like I would get because it's a strong. Especially because a lot of forms you do horse stance, you do like that nice that stomp into the ground to get the emphasis, right? So
yeah,
I would
but there's
get that
nothing
there.
really like that.
But maybe we should. Maybe the idea is to think about our stances and think about that emphasis on the stance and the strength in the stance and but also I think stances come back in a later one. What we'll see in a bit. But yeah, let's move on. That was 4. What's 5? 5 is
What's 5 called?
5 is called Ojang.
Oh dang!
Ojang.
Oh.
J. Jung. I think it's pronounced
Fine.
Jung. Ojang. Again, I am very early in my Duolingo Korean course, so.
You're making me feel bad about myself. I want to learn a language.
I like languages. I don't know why they come so quick to me.
You know what? They do come easy to me too, but I just don't utilize that talent. It's a talent I have in the bank, but I don't use it.
You don't care, yeah. I
And
mean,
it's sad.
we went to French school since we were in kindergarten, so like those synapses are there, right? So we
Yeah.
learned 2 languages since we were 5,
Yeah.
so it helps. But anyways, Ojang is associated with wind. Pattern 5.
Wind.
Wind.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Okay.
1, 2, 3,
Wind.
5. That's 5. I can see like because wind is fun where it's like it's kind of derived from the idea of like the heavens or the sky, but like it
Mhm.
has that fluid motion to it that can be extremely strong, very violent, aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you definitely see some big flowy motions, like the first part of 5. You do the low strike, the low block, and we come up and do the backhand or the hammer fist. Right, and we have like the low strike.
Like
big
there's
and come out.
yeah, it's like a grand
Yeah.
like those grand movements,
Mm-hmm.
especially at the beginning. And then at the end too.
Yeah, so I see
We have like that like distance. We have like it's like a first jumping kick in the sequence.
Yeah. So I see like fluidity into very strong forward motion, not a redirecting motion, because I relate that to water, like taking energy and redirecting it back, but just a very strong forward fluid motion.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I guess. That's kind of the energy I try to embody now when I do Ojang. But no, I don't have any additional thoughts on that one as of yet. I'm not sure if anything else is coming to your mind.
Yeah, no, like immediately I just thought of how it has like more grand motions than the other ones
Mm-hmm.
that you would have done up until that time. So yeah, like you said, like that first like overhead kind of motion, and then yeah, so we have our first jumping kick, but it's like you're like jumping forward,
Mm-hmm.
like
Like whew, yes, like whew.
yeah, like the Flash, but not the creepy Flash. And no, you don't know about the Flash drama.
Oh,
Okay.
what's the name of the actor?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Anyways,
moving.
the good Flash.
Yeah.
What else is in that one?
5 has some front kicks.
So when you're moving forward at the beginning, you know, it's like
It's what body block, back fist, kick, or kick, back fist, body block.
yeah, kick back, fist, block, and it's like it's a little repetitive going forward like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think those like continuous circular motions
Yeah.
kind of play into that as well.
Oh yeah, like very like chaining those moves in like a continual flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see that. That's really cool. Yeah.
Because that I've always felt that especially about that particular section of the form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where you're moving forwards. It's that part has like an exceptionally good flow, I think.
I agree.
And I always think about it when I'm doing it. So
Well, now you have some
Yeah.
visualization to add to it. I can send you all of this list and stuff too afterwards if you want to play
Please
with
do.
this.
yes, please do.
But next up is Yukjang, which is the 6th form, and here we're at water.
Water.
And I can kind of see it, like we do have. I see it as well with the first movement of 4, because 4 has the double block where you're coming back and to the front. I see that as like, again, redirect, accept energy, bring it in, push it back. And I can see that with some of the moves of 6 as well. We do some
Okay,
similar
so
things.
if you're comparing to 4 then, so that first move,
Mm-hmm.
that is like your double knife hand, maybe for 4 it's supposed to be more jabby, and maybe for 6 it's supposed to be more flowy.
Oh, I like that. I'm gonna write that down.
Like maybe they're supposed to, even though they're the same movement, maybe it's intended to look different in that way. Because it's at that point, so for 4, if it's more jabby, it would be more of an offensive strike.
Yeah,
Right? Whereas 6, maybe the intention is different there.
absolutely. I mean, we know. We already know that there's like the press and block that we do. That I think there's like 3 or 4 different ways we do it in 3 or 4 different forms.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I can definitely see that, like, because again, the whole thing that I talked about before, but the names of the moves being wrong, right? Have I never mentioned this to you?
Maybe, but maybe I need more context.
Like the names of all of our techniques are wrong. Like, it's not a body block, so like it's not meant to be just done like this,
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
my favorite example being, what in Taekwondo is called double or inside out knife hand block, depending on your school, right? When you're here, one of the many different traditional names for that was purple dragon sticks out his tongue, because the name didn't matter. The name wasn't representative of what it is, how you use it, what to do with it. It was just a way for one person to tell someone else what to do with their body, so they could communicate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so the idea of like press and block, I like that press and block doesn't have it has the word block in it, but other than that, it doesn't really have that descriptive a name. So the fact that we have 3 forms that do press and block in 3 different ways is a great example of like the move. It doesn't really matter, right? You just do the thing and then adapt it and use it how you need to.
Yeah.
I think this is a good example.
And when you're doing
of that.
it in like pattern 6 too, you have that redirect with the other hand into the block, and your bottom half is like kind of twisting into it. Like you're kind of favored on one side, and then you do your redirect, and then when you're bringing it back, your bottom, like your legs, are kind of like flowing into it as well.
Yeah.
So the whole thing works together nicely that way.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah.
And I do that all the time with the kids. Like when they're, when I'm teaching the kids, especially for a body block, for example, I'll be like, pretend it's a hammer fist.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm
it
like,
absolutely
no,
is.
you're punching them, or a back fist, I want you to pretend you're hitting, like there's a board here and you want to break it like that.
Yeah.
And so, I kind of explain things to like the younger kids that way so that they get the motion right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, I've started learning, especially when I do like newer, when I learn kung fu forms. I'm finding forms where I can learn the original names of all the moves, and the original names of the forms, because I just find them really cool as well. Was one of the staff forms that I do where I learned the names is like rein horse posture, where you're like you're holding the reins of a horse. Like just fun things. There's like one that's like one of the more ridiculous and just like grandiose, very stylistic names is like capsize the river, reverse the seas. And
That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. And then like the next one after that is calm the mountains and rivers. And it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I just like upturned all the rivers, let's calm them back down. But just the names are I mean, they're beautiful. I think they're very eloquent. But it's interesting. It's fun. I enjoy doing it.
Yeah, so I think this list we're going through is like a basic starting off point for
Agreed.
For those kind of names.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this is where I mentioned the footwork. So pattern 7 is Chiljang, and this one the trigram here is mountain.
So we have the mountain salute.
We do have the mountain salute, which is going up to here.
So that explains that a little better.
Yep. But also, I mean, when I think of mountain, obviously I'm thinking of extremely unmovable or immovable, I guess is the correct word. Immovable,
yeah.
strong posture, strong stance, strong moves, and so I'm looking at it. I'm looking at my footwork a lot more than other times. I'm looking at, am I in a strong stance? So what am I trying to accentuate the strength of my footwork and my grounding in the form?
Yeah, and pattern 7 is really good for that because it has a huge variety of different stances, mm-hmm. and each of those stances are used in that like very grounding kind of context. Like it's like you're not doing them like a lot of them. You're doing them in a very like strong, stable kind of way rather than in like that flowy way of other forms.
Yes.
Like the movements really account for that philosophy, I think.
No, yeah, agreed. So that's been where my mind's at when I'm doing Chiljong. Did I say
I have
the
an
name of?
embarrassing story. I
Sorry?
have an embarrassing story about that one.
Oh, please tell.
I couldn't remember count 5 for some reason last time I did it.
Oh, last
So I
time. This
had
doesn't
to-
even like an old story. This is a new story.
No, yeah, this was like last week or something. I was like going through because I've been teaching like lower belts for so long. I guess I haven't done those higher ones in a while, and I didn't realize it. And I was like,
Fair.
well, I'm gonna go through my taekwondo patterns again, and I couldn't remember number 5. Therefore, I couldn't properly transition to the rest of the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I know it, but how do I get there? And it was like number 5. So I had to ask, and it was really embarrassing.
Double knife and low block.
Yeah, double knife hand low block.
Which leads into the
And
mountain
another
walk.
one, and then
where you do,
yes. Whee!
which I can't do very well
Very
sitting
nice.
down, but
I know it's hard. This would be a really good episode to do, like, have visuals.
yeah.
But like you said, we're
If you want
mostly
visuals,
audio, so
this will be on YouTube.
we're some mild visuals.
Yeah. Mostly you can just
But yeah,
see,
if-
you know, me in my nice new white shirt.
Yeah.
That's all.
Get on our YouTube to see this white shirt.
Yeah. My almost finished office.
It's very impressive.
Thank you. Did any other thoughts on Childong on Mountain? I see it as
That last stretch of movements at the end are very like strong, powerful, grounded horse stance, like you brought up. A lot of horse stance. I like the elbows that there are in that portion of the pattern, because it's like, well, I just really like elbows in general, but elbows to me are like super. I don't know if everyone kind of feels this way. Like if you do martial arts. But elbows to me are like super, super strong, effective. And if I was getting attacked, I know I'd be like getting right into those elbows right away.
yeah.
So to me, it's it feels very stable and grounding to do
Mm-hmm.
those strikes that accompany the horse stance at the end of the form.
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying my best to describe these things because we're mostly audio, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel I do wonder how much of our audience is other martial artists versus people that just have an interest in it and want to get into martial arts. What's the varying degree of experience level, I should say, within martial arts among our listeners. But I don't know, maybe someday we'll find out. Leave us comments somewhere. I'm sure there's comment sections on our
You know
various
what?
things.
We should have like an Instagram so we can post accompanying visuals, I think, maybe.
We could do that. There's a thing we could do. I can make us one that we could have a shared access to.
Yeah. Okay, we'll look into that.
Excellent. Doing business discussions mid-podcast. I love it. Last one of our Taiguk forms is, like I said, Paljung. And now we're talking about, it's a mix of ground or earth. And this is the 3 broken trigrams.
Ground and earth.
Earth being kind of, again, so if you compare it opposite of Iljang, ground in the sense that opposite of sky, earth as in opposite of heavens.
That's a lot to digest.
It is. I mean,
That's a tough one.
I also try to look at them too as the differences in aggressive, offensive versus defensive forms. Which ones are neutral forms? I think that would be another way we could look at them. But like, it's a multi-layered discussion that we could sit here probably for hours talking about these forms.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like putting up a multi-hour long podcast.
Well, we're at 1 already. So.
I know, but I'm enjoying this conversation. So
Do you have any thoughts about 8?
8 is a tough one for me as well. Because
Yeah, nothing's really coming to me. Well, what about... Okay, so we do our Chimbi, our ready stance. Different. in
no,
this
that's
one.
choreo.
Oh, embarrassing moment part 2.
Getting ahead of yourself.
I'll edit it out.
That's when we get. No, don't do that. No, yeah, your shame stays here with the rest of us.
No.
Hey, everyone makes mistakes. It's fine.
Yeah, but patterns are my thing, man.
Yeah, but you can make mistakes.
I know them so well.
I know you do, except for pattern 7 apparently, because you forgot that one.
Yeah, I forgot patterns.
But I mean, that's good. A good discussion. I mean, everyone makes mistakes. Even if you're really good at something, you make mistakes. That's fine. That's human. That's the 3 broken lines
Fine.
trigram. No, actually, that wouldn't be, because that's Earth, not man.
Hey,
Never mind.
maybe that's what it. Maybe that's how it relates back. Is that? What do you call it? The gram?
Trigram?
Trigram? Yeah. Maybe that's how it relates back to the trigram. Is that it's complicated and you make mistakes.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one that's one of the things I think I found that I was thinking about was that the more we do, the further we are from the first form, the less, like, the structure changes to kind of almost a completely different form, a completely different style of structure. Right? Like, the first few forms are very, very similar in the structure. Right? It's always left, step, turn around, move, step, go to the right, go to the middle, do something, so on and so forth. And the further we get from Iljung, the less we have that structure. And that structure changes to be something else. And by 8, we've kind of totally thrown out the window. We're not starting by going left or right anymore. We're going straight down the middle.
Oh yeah.
And then we start doing our left and right, and we come back left and right. So we've taken the whole structure and we've kind of flipped it around.
That's right.
So we've now gone basically polar opposite from
Which is
Iljung.
And you said that the elements are opposite of. They're like opposing.
Yes, this trigram represents Earth, whereas Iljung represents heavens. So they are meant to be opposites.
Oh my god. And then that's how it comes back to the Korean Pepsi logo.
The Taeguk, yes. What most people would recognize as a yin yang.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which actually, now that I'm mentioning it, that was the thing that I was struggling with before. The thought that I had a while ago was how, as we move away from Iljung, the structure is lost and it becomes something new and becomes backwards, basically.
Yeah. That's cool. I didn't realize it was so connected to the flag.
Yeah, I think, yes.
Thanks for teaching me the lessons of the flag, Thomas.
You're welcome. There's a lot more like the... I'm not going to go too far into it because, again, we are over an hour at this point, so I don't want to go... We can probably do more episodes on this topic in another day, once we've both sat on this information for a little longer. But I was looking at also our black belt forms, which are called Yudanja forms, as opposed to Taeguk. They're the Yudanja, which just kind of means... It's like a learned person, like a expert. It's used for like basically for black belt ranks of things.
Okay.
Kind of thing. But those forms are the footwork again. Each one of the forms relates to a kanji. Well, I don't know the Korean word for it, but kanji in Japanese, which is the Chinese characters that are all pictographics.
Oh, okay.
So if we look at like our the Yudanja forms, so choreo, your footwork is meant to draw out the form that means it has a bunch of meanings. One of them is warrior or soldier. It also kind of means wise or learned person. So it's the first form of your learned education, your learned life as a martial artist.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, kumgang, your footwork draws out the kanji for mountain, symbolizing unbreakable.
That's cool.
The third one, it draws out the kanji that's, again, a confusing one. It kind of means construction or to build or things like a bridge. Apparently the spiritual connotation there that's intended is kind of the bridge between the mortal world and the physical and the spiritual world. Pyongwon is a straight line, and it's the kanji for either means one or it means peaceful or plains, equal. And then the form that I'm currently learning, which is Shipjin, is drawing out the symbol for 10, the number 10, which is supposed to represent long-lived and healthiness. There's there's meanings attached to the number 10 in Korean and Eastern cultures. And so that's where the meaning is supposed to be. And then I don't know the forms past that, but that's where I'm at. So nice. Again, I just find it very interesting how...
We should test this and do like one of the forms with paint on our feet.
I literally had thought about that. and I was thinking like I can make a painting by doing my forms and I could sell it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Legitimately, I thought about this.
And I can film it with my drone?
Yes. Come to Montreal to do this.
Thank you for listening to the High Frequency Kicks podcast. Remember to subscribe on your favorite streaming service and give us a like.